I'm actually, I always say I'm worth my weight in gold, and it's because I'm actually worth more the less I do. I think we sabotage a lot of births in our doing and our helping. And it was actually a doula that showed me that, Liliana Lammers. So her partner's Michelle Odont. So they've worked together with many, many women, and the women have realised their power around this couple. Michelle's often not in the room. Liliana might be, but she'll be very quietly in the room. And I was at a birth with her, the first birth I had with her as a doula, me as a midwife, and I was doing my helping. So she taught me. I was helping by rubbing her back and being very present, and the labour was relatively fast for a first-time birther. And then Liliana waited until the mother had gone to the bathroom, and she said to me, "Do you know, this baby would be born much more quickly if you stopped helping." She did bunny ears. and I looked at her, and she's been at many thousands of births over many decades. Yeah. And I just thought, this woman's going to teach me something.
Yeah.
And so I stopped helping. And then she said to the mother, "I think if you had some time alone in the bathroom, you'd come out within the hour with a baby." And the mother said, "Okay." And she went into her ensuite, and she came out within the hour with a baby.
Wow. Yeah.
So I got taught. I got schooled. I was schooled. And so that's when I learned to do even less.
So can you tell us your journey? Can you tell us?
Yeah.
Because how many children do you have?
I gave birth to two.
Two.
I ended up raising 5.
Right.
I've always liked a full house.
Yeah.
And the universe conspired that would be the case. And they're all amazing.
Yeah.
And all close. So when I knew I wanted to be a midwife from the age of 15.
Wow.
But as I couldn't keep a plant alive, I knew that definitely got the black thumb. So I was really concerned about being left in charge of women and their babies. So I scuttled right away from that into accountancy, managed to balance books, etc. It kept calling me. So I ignored the call, went and had my own children, had atrocious births. And thought, oh gosh, I can't let other women go through this, but I cannot take the responsibility of being a midwife. So then I started being a doula on the sly.
On the sly?
On the sly.
Slipping into people's births.
Slipping into people's births.
I'm just going to be here doing nothing.
That's right. And I did it really well. And so I started to see normal birth unfolding and thought, why didn't I get that? And then I started to put 2 and 2 together, and it was starting to make sense. And one day I just broke down in tears, and my finance manager was just going, "What's wrong with you?" And I said, "I have to be a midwife." She's like, "Well, just go on then." So I went and started my midwifery training, met some amazing people, but all the time I was a bit different. So I liked being in the birth room, and I liked doing nothing, and I really resented some of the things that we were encouraged to do and didn't make sense. And then got my registration, and then one day just had this nightmare that just contained all the children that I'd clamped and cut their cords straight away.
Can you tell us about what you mean by clamping and cutting cords?
Right, so I was taught that when a baby is being born, I should give an injection into the woman's thigh at the point of birth. And the injection is, at the time, was called syntocinon. So it's an oxytocic, and it's meant to make the woman's uterus contract to facilitate releasing the placenta. However, whenever we were taught to give that, we had to then clamp the cord, the baby's umbilical cord that leads back to the placenta, cut it, then put another clamp on it, or forceps, and then use them to pull the placenta out by the cord. So it's called controlled cord traction. So that's what we were taught to do, and we weren't taught there were any other options. What it means is that a third of the baby's blood was always wasted. So it was in the placenta and not in the baby. And when a baby's it's like if you were to lose a third of your blood complement, you'd not be feeling very well.
That, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And so we'd been systematically doing that. And obviously it wasn't just me, it's all the babies being born were all having the same thing done.
So straight away?
Straight away.
So not allowing it?
No, there was no delayed cord clamping in those days. There was no minute to 3 minutes. It was immediately.
And what's the benefit of this? Like, why did they start doing that? Because it doesn't make sense. You think about, we've been here forever. We did not have these clamps and things. And
see, that wisdom, that common sense is right there. It just goes to show when you're in an institution, it's like you sometimes have to park your common sense like by the front door as you go in, just to survive in the institution.
This is the way we've done stuff.
This is the way we do it. Don't question it. You're only a student. What would you know anyway? You know, and actually, it's not a medical condition, being pregnant. It's actually common sense and it's a natural thing. And so, it was very difficult to sleep with the knowledge that I'd done that to so many children. Yeah. So I stopped sleeping and I stopped eating, and it was quite dramatic. I couldn't get out of my pajamas. I couldn't leave the house. It sounds so weird and dramatic, but it was just the weight of it all. And then at that point, I realised I could never clamp and cut a cord again, which is great because around that time, the amazing Amanda Burleigh, who's a midwife, who has actually handed back her registration because she was bullied mercilessly for the work she did to help us understand the harm we were doing to babies.
Wow.
So she is no longer a practicing midwife, but babies are saved. Because now it's at least delayed cord clamping, and then she's gone on to start a campaign called Wait for White, which is where you wait for all the blood that the baby wants to retrieve from their placenta to be in the baby. The cord goes white and flaccid, looks like chewed gum basically, and then you can clamp and cut the cord without injury to the baby. But it means that the baby's got all of its blood, and if the baby's got all of its blood, that means rather than taking blood from the liver and the brain to help the lungs to work properly, it's got a full blood complement. So the lungs work properly at the point of birth as well as all the other organs. So it is significant.
It just makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like if you
like,
talk about it, you're just like, oh, why would you not do that?
Yeah, that's right. Why would you not do that? And they've now got research 2019 showing the difference between babies who had the cord clamped and cut before 5 minutes and after 5 minutes. And of course, you know what's going to show, right? It's going to show higher IQ, higher attainment, higher iron levels, in the blood and things, so it's kind of obvious.
Yeah.